Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and Loki Season 2 were definitely the best Marvel projects I saw in 2023. Across the Spider-Verse was a culmination movie that came close to topping No Way Home, and Loki Season 2 completed the character arc of Loki. These two have a lot in common, being both Marvel projects, both having lots of action and emotion, and both having a large following. But the biggest thing that they have in common is that LEGO made close to nothing for these major projects, which are likely not getting sequels. So, the LEGO community and minifigure customizers on YouTube felt that it was their duty to create something for both of these projects. So I'm here to fulfill mine in what might be the last Spider-Verse and Loki figures I'll make. So today I have for you 4 figures from Loki Season 2, and also 6 figures from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Time codes are in the description, and I've added chapters if you want to go ahead to different figures. With all that said, let's get into the video. Starting off with Loki Season 2, we will be going in order of appearance. The first figure is Loki in his time-slipping outfit, based off the iconic brown peacoat and slacks that Loki wears for the majority of the season. I made the coat out of construction paper and sticker paper for the lapels, and I'm quite fond of the little details that it has. You can see that on the inside I've painted the details of his shirt fabric, TVA belt, and his coat actually opens, and you can see other details of the inside of his jacket. He also has painting on his shoes that wrap all the way around the legs. You can see if I remove his coat, he has the iconic outfit from Season 1, with the attachment for his sword to his back, and I also painted the detail on his shirt for the folds of fabric. You've also probably noticed that his face looks different. I painted that on my own for the first time using instructions from MGF Customs, and I think it looks pretty good for the first painted face I've done, and pretty accurate to Tom Hiddleston. I've also painted his TVA belt logo and boots with matte black for the base and gloss black for the laces and soles. This next figure is Loki in his vintage black tuxedo. I love tuxedos because I'm a little bit of a fashion and costume design nerd, and one of my favorite things to do is to look at these more tailored clothes and see what details they have that make them look so good. I painted quite a bit of those details, including the satin stripes on the pants, the satin on his buttons, lapels, bow tie, and pocket square, and I even painted his shirt ruffles and cummerbund. If I open it up, you can see the details of his bow tie and cummerbund, and also the shirt ruffles. You can also see that I painted his glossy black dress shoes with details that wrap around all 4 sides of the legs, and also those satin stripes on the pants that I mentioned earlier. We can also see from this angle, possibly, the satin buttons on the back of the arm. But for the most part, that's it for this figure. I also made Mobius in his black tuxedo from the same scene. You can see Mobius has a different, wider style of lapel, which wasn't intentional and actually totally happened by accident. He also has a white pocket to differentiate, black and gold shirt studs, and satin on his pockets, cummerbund, bow tie, and that satin stripe on his pants. If I open the figure up, you can see the black and gold shirt studs that I gave him, along with his cummerbund and also his pockets on the side. Again, just like Loki, those glossy black dress shoes continue all the way around all four sides of the legs. Again, you can see more of those black satin buttons on the side and the satin stripes on the legs. If you're wondering where that face is from, it's actually from the official Firestar Toys Mobius figure, which I think works really well, as it even has his nose. Alright guys, first God Loki figure ever made. Wait. Well, anyway, this figure is Loki, God of Stories. It got me an insane amount of views, and I think it's one of my best figures. This figure has these green vine pieces that I used for the timeline branches that he carries. In the clip, you can see that they're black, but they turn this bright green color, which is why I think these vine branch pieces work so well. If I remove those vine branch pieces, you can see I did a lot of custom fabric work, including lots of layering with textures of the robes and also the colors with green, gold, black, and dark green. There's also layering of the fabric pieces using sticker paper for his cape to add that additional amount of texture. And if you can see, there is a pattern of black and gold detailing on the loafers as well. You can see here that the front robe piece is attached to the back cape, sort of like the graduation gown piece that LEGO does, and it gives you a better view of the layering that I used for his robes. If I bend the legs here, you can see that I painted 3 different tones onto the feet of this figure, with the flesh tone for his feet and ankles, and the black, gloss black for his shoes, and the gold for his tassels, and his patterns. You can see that the cape and back piece is all one, and if I remove it, it gives you a much better view of the actual torso and legs and the way that the robes are painted. Also, if you're wondering what I did for his crown, basically all I did was I took an old one of these Loki helmets, older sets of his, and cut it like a madman using clay to sculpt the rest so that it would sit properly like a crown on this hairpiece. That way you get the hair integrated, and then of course I painted all the rest of the detail. I've also built this custom throne piece for displaying this figure, and if this video gets 50 likes or up, or if the short video that I originally released it on gets 50 likes or up, then I'll drop a tutorial for this display. But that's probably the last Loki figure I'm gonna make. Now on to the Spider-Verse.
And then I looked at my uncle and...
let me guess. He died?
So first up we have Spider-Man India, or Pavitr Prabhakar. Pavitr was a standout character from this movie, and so his costume stands out too. I painted all of the detailing on the patterns of his suit, including the bangles and his skirt kilt thing, which I'm pretty sure is called a dhoti. If I bring the figure closer, you can see that painted blue and red on the shoulders and the logo. And also I painted his headband and his dots and other details on his mask. I used the Bruce Banner hairpiece for Puvitor's hair, but if any of you have other ideas, let me know in the comments. At the bottom you can see I painted some brown for his weird feet things on his pants, and on the back too for his ankles, along with all of the other gold, blue, and red detailing. The next figure is one of my favorite figures, Spider-Punk or Hobie. And one thing I wanted to do to differentiate between these spider people was the shades of red. So while Pav has bright red and flamenco red shades, Hobie has a lighter flag red shade. Other details on Hobie include his glossy black jacket with the silver stud details and the spider logo on the back. I also painted his cool red and blue boots and patterned pants and all the pins on top of his jacket. If I open it up, you can also see the shirt that he's wearing on the inside with the blue along with the webbing lines. The pattern of the boots continues all the way around the legs, along with the pattern of the pants. And if I zoom in, you can see all the detailing of the pins that I've painted onto his lapels. For the spikes on his head, I just used a mohawk piece, a typical black one, and painted it silver, and then painted the webbing lines around it. You can see that I also painted webbing lines onto the top of the torso to add some extra detail. This next figure of Ben Reilly is one of my favorites because it taught me a new technique for comic book style figures. The idea is that you only paint in what is called a matte finish, and then it happens to have this flat comic look to it. I use it in my upcoming X-Men 97 mini showcase too. The figure comes with a hood piece, but like in the comics when Venom rips it off, I ripped it off to show you the details of the back and top of the torso. The rips are painted in a navy blue, along with his spider logo on the front and on the back, which I'm really proud of, and also his leg pockets and wrist web shooters are painted. You can see I painted the details of the muscles and the inside ankle pockets, and each muscle fiber almost is painted in that darker red color as I was talking about. If I turn the figure to the other side, you can see the web shooter and web holder details painted in black and white, since there obviously is no matte silver color. This next figure is based off of Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Woman. And she comes with a custom piece for her hair, which again I cut by myself like a madman and then sculpted over it. You can see she comes with a glossy black finish with matte black details, along with her turquoise Chuck Taylors, which I painted the logo on both sides. I also painted the webbing lines on her gauntlets with a magenta and turquoise color that I mixed myself. If I move it around, you can see a little bit more of the low light detail on her hair, and also you can see that those Chuck Taylors detail covers all around the sides. Now, if I put the mask on, you can see I painted her mask and hood piece with that turquoise and magenta color that I mixed myself, and I used the Miles Morales hood piece for this. Thankfully, it didn't scratch the actual painted face, and you can see a little bit of dust has gotten onto the figure, but you can see the rest of the details of the mask and of the glossy black finish, along with the stripes that continue all around the sides of the figure and on the back. I also painted her with her pink cardigan, which has all of the button detailing on one side, along with that magenta-ish color and the pink stripes on the shoulder tops and on the top portion. But that's it for this figure, and I hope you enjoyed it. Next up, we have Miles Morales in his upgraded suit, and this figure has a lot of painted texture. He has a glossy black finish painted over with black S detailing on and a matte color, along with the red on the sides for his super suit. You can see I also painted some of the knee pad detailing in matte black, and along the sides you can see that detailing continues, and all around the legs of the figure. This was really difficult to paint this part. I use this afro piece and the roadie head from the Captain America Civil War airport battle set for his unmasked version. Just like the Gwen Stacy figure, I decided to make an extra jacket for this Miles, and these jackets are swappable, which you'll see later, but this one is his red and green jacket that she wears later on in the film, and he has all of the detailing of the fringes of the hoodie and the logo on the sides, along with the zipper of the inside red jacket, and overall it was one of my favorite ones to make, and it looks pretty comic-y with those black chunky lines for the pockets and detailing. Now you see Gwen with it on too, and it works really well, I think. And all you have to do is swap out the hands for the figure, and yeah, there it is.
Miguel O'Hara.
The whole thing was his idea.
Finally, guys, we have Miguel O'Hara, one of my favorite figures, and I'm told by my friends that this is one of the best ones I've done, maybe the best in this series. So, starting off, you can see that he has gloss red and matte flag red painted details, including this flag red texture for his holographic cape. You can see there's also gloss red on the bottom of his boots, and I custom sculpted those gauntlet pieces for the sides of his arms. If I remove the head here, I can replace it and give you a look at how the figure looks with a hairpiece and without a mask. This is, I believe, the Boba Fett head, I think, with the Han Solo hairpiece. And I think it works alright for Miguel O'Hara. Not perfect, but it does the job. Next, you can see how I've cut the cape into the shape of a Mandalorian cape, almost, in order to keep it along the shoulders. Attaching the head back on, you can see that there's a detail on the top of the head with metallic blue, and also on the back there's detailing of metallic blue and glossy black for his back muscles. There's also black detailing for the triceps, and on the front portion of the arms you can see that he has metallic blue detailing, and on his chest as well. You can see more of that detailing if I bring the figure closer, because there's inside of the actual logo, but it's not focusing, so we'll just set it back there and zoom in. So you can see there's the little tiny lines in between the other red lines, along with his ab details and all of the other things. And I tried to use this technique for the glossy black parts where I added certain muscles would be in shadow in order to give him that darker look. And now we can also attach his head again, and if we turn the figure around, you can see like the iconic pose of Miguel O'Hara from the back and that logo on the back as well. If I put Miguel in this running pose, you can see a lot more of the detail, especially the red that continues all around the sides of the legs, and the detailing on the rest of the back and the gauntlets. You can see how attached they are, that they move with the arms, as I was hoping. But for the most part, that's it for this figure. One of my favorite ones, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Anyways, that was all the figures for both Loki Season 2 and Across the Spider-Verse. If you're wondering why I say these are probably the last figures I'll make, I mean these are the last of Spider-Verse and Loki. One, Loki is almost definitely over, and Hiddleston has confirmed his run is done, which is sad but true. I already made some Loki figures back in 2020 before this channel, but they were never very good to post here, and if I ever want to go back and redo those, maybe I will. But most likely, this is where it ends. And as for Spider-Verse, with the recent writer's strike delaying Part 2 indefinitely, or at least to 2026 when I graduate, it seems there won't be more figures to make. I know a lot of new info is coming out about Beyond the Spider-Verse, and it is happening, but until we get a good release date, this is probably the last for both of these areas of LEGO Marvel, at least on this channel. If any of you made anything cool for either of these projects, LEGO related, whether it's stop motion, figures, or mocks, let me know in the comments and I'll check it out. With that, this is the Minifig Maker, and remember, good art takes time, so never stop creating.